a minister, an ordained minister. What we found is that in 92% of the inmates that we assessed, they came out of family situations in which there was clearly a lack of spiritual nurture and guidance on the part of the parents, and especially on the part of the fathers, who in 6 to 8% of these cases was outside of the home, was absent from the home.
And so there's a very, very close relationship. What you're saying is that young people who become eventually involved in violence, that there are more of those who never had that Christian, well, that the spiritual experience that you're talking about. Is that what we're saying?
Yes, I'm saying that if you look at the spiritual background or the religious background of persons who have a history of repetitive, antisocial, or criminal behavior, what you'll often find is that they've grown up in a family situation in which one or both parents were very self-centered. Self-centered means that they were focused on their own needs, focused on gratifying their own desires, and therefore did not offer the kind of spiritual role model or the kind of spiritual instruction that a child needs in order to develop a good sense of who he is and a good sense of who God is and what God expects and requires.
And those young people who were not exposed to that kind of influence came out on the short end of things. Would that be a necessity?
Yes, as a matter of fact, the men that we evaluated, all of them tested as having low or very low self-esteem. 70% of them responded to the question, how do you handle it when somebody mistreats you or takes advantage of you? 70% of the men we evaluated said, I believe in trying to get even or trying to get
7-8%.
7-8%.